They say every city in the South has one house that never lets go of its dead. In Savannah, that house is the Sorrelweed Mansion. Rain lashes the cobblestones. Thunder rolls somewhere beyond the oak trees. For over 100 years, people have heard her. A woman in black, weeping behind locked doors.
Some say she was a servant.
Some say she was the mistress. All agree on one thing. She never left. Headlights slice through the fog as a car moves down Whitaker Street. Ava Moore sits behind the wheel. Journalist, skeptic, logic her armor. She's chasing one last Halloween headline. October 31st, she says into her recorder. Assignment, The Lady in Black. Objective, debunk Savannah's favorite ghost story. Windshield wipers sweep in rhythm with the rain. A faint voice flickers under the static of the radio. Help me. Ava frowns and turns the volume down. She doesn't hear the whisper again. The Sorrelweed house appears ahead, rising from the fog like a monument to secrets. Lightning flashes, tall columns, dark windows, a shadow moving just behind the glass. An old caretaker waits by the gate, holding a lantern. You're late, Miss Monroe, he says. Doors shouldn't open past midnight. Ghosts keep a curfew? She teases. Not ghosts, he mutters. Regrets. The gate slams shut behind her. The sound echoes down the empty street, swallowed by the storm. From the moment she steps inside, the air turns heavy and cold. Her breath fogs. The camera on her shoulder flickers, battery full but draining as though something were feeding on it. Footsteps echo from upstairs, slow, deliberate. Ava freezes, waiting for the sound again. Silence. She shakes her head. Pipes, she whispers. Old houses make noise. Then from the dark hallway a whisper. Tell them what he did. Ava spins around. Hello? Who's there? No answer. Just the soft sound of weeping. Distant but close enough to feel. A candle goes out on its own. The silence after is thick, alive. Her heartbeat becomes the only sound. That night, Ava Moore didn't find a ghost story. She found a witness, a spirit silenced by history, desperate to be heard. Thunder crashes. For a split second, she sees a figure in the mirror, a woman in black, eyes hollow, reaching toward her. Every recording Ava made that night was recovered. But Ava Moore herself was never seen again. Static, wind, then a final whisper. I'm still here. Savannah sleeps under a heavy sky. The rain has stopped, but the streets still shine, reflections of lamplight and ghosts of the past. Ava Moore stands in front of the Sorrelweed house, her camera steady in her hands. The old mansion looms over her, columns slick with rain, shadows moving behind cracked windows. She adjusts her press badge, trying to mask the chill creeping up her spine. All right, she whispers, switching on her recorder. Let's make history less mysterious. She pushes the door open. It groans like the house itself is sighing. The foyer smells of dust and something sweet. Flowers long dead. Her boots tap across the marble floor. Each echo feels too loud, like the walls are listening. Built in 1840, she narrates softly, her voice steady. Once home to General Francis Sorrel. His wife, Matilda, jumped from the balcony after discovering her husband's affair with a servant named Molly. Weeks later, Molly was found hanging in the carriage house. Her words hang in the air. The temperature drops again. She looks up. The chandelier sways. Just slightly, wind, she mutters. But all the doors are closed. Ava walks deeper into the house. The portraits stare, eyes painted with oil and arrogance. One of the women looks familiar, pale skin, black dress, sorrow in her gaze. The brass plaque beneath it reads, Matilda Sorrel, 1831-1860. She moves on, filming every inch of the mansion. Her camera lens catches dust, or maybe something else, floating like static in the beam. She passes an old mirror in the hall. For a moment, her reflection lags behind her movement. She stops, looks closer. The reflection smiles. Ava stumbles back, gasping. The smile fades. Only her own frightened face remains. She laughs it off, shaky, forced. Okay, old house trick. Lighting, optics, whatever. But her recorder catches a faint whisper behind her laughter. A woman's voice. Tell them what he did. Ava freezes. Hello? No response. Only the creak of the floorboards above. She checks her footage, rewinds. The whisper is there, clear and pleading. But when she looks up the staircase, the air feels thick, pressing, alive. She takes a deep breath and climbs, step by step, into the second floor. Upstairs, the hall stretches long and narrow. The wallpaper peels like dead skin. Each door she passes seems colder than the last. At the end of the corridor, she finds the master bedroom, untouched since the 1800s. White drapes hang around a massive four-poster bed. A faint scent of perfume lingers, old and powdery. On the vanity sits a brush, still tangled with strands of hair. Ava leans closer, whispering to herself, "It's like they just left." The house answers. A faint sob echoes from the corner of the room. Ava whirls around. Flashlight beam slicing through the dark. Nothing, just the curtains moving slightly, as if stirred by breath. Her voice shakes as she records, "Possible draft. Sound resonance. Then her flashlight flickers and dies. Darkness swallows the room. And in that darkness, someone breathes. Ava steadies her breathing. The flashlight flickers back to life and the room looks unchanged, yet something feels wrong. Her tripod camera, which she'd left facing the doorway, is now pointing at her. She walks over, frowning. "That's not funny," she murmurs, though she's alone. She repositions the lens, but her hands tremble. Her instincts tell her to leave, but curiosity wins. She switches to night vision mode and scans the room. The lens catches faint shapes, heat patterns where no people stand. Then a sound, metal clinking, like keys dropped onto stone. Ava turns toward the balcony doors. They're locked from the inside. Her phone buzzes with an unknown number. On the screen, a text. "Check the carriage house." She hesitates, eyes darting to the window that overlooks the courtyard below. Beyond the drizzle and fog stands a smaller structure, half collapsed, roof sagging. Ava swallows hard and hits record again. Investigating secondary structure. Might be prank calls from the tour staff. Outside, the night hums with cicadas and faint thunder. As she approaches the carriage house, the sound fades, as if the world is holding its breath. Inside, dust dances in the beam of her flashlight. The walls are covered with markings, initials carved into the wood. One catches her eye, MS. She kneels to focus the camera. "Matilda Sorrel," she whispers. Below the carving, another set of letters, ML Molly. Ava steps back. The beam from her light catches a cracked mirror leaning against the wall. It's old, warped, its silver backing flaking away. She raises the camera to capture it, then lowers it, realizing something. In the reflection, the room looks brighter. A faint outline of two women stands where the shadows should be. One wears a long dress. The other an apron. They're facing each other, heads bowed. Ava can't move. Then one figure looks up, the reflection shatters with a pop. Dust and glass rain down, and Ava stumbles backward, coughing. When the air clears, she whispers to her recorder, "This isn't folklore. It's history. Two women, not ghosts, trapped in a story they couldn't tell." She steadies herself and walks back toward the main house, unaware that the camera she left upstairs has started recording on its own again. Back inside the mansion, the lights hum as power flickers through the old wiring. Ava's phone battery reads 7%. She's been recording for hours without realizing how long she stayed. She sets the camera on the dining table, checking her footage. The image freezes on one frame. The parlor behind her is empty, but a blurred shape stands beside the fireplace. A woman's outline, arms crossed, head tilted. Ava rewinds, plays it again. The figure appears only for half a second, just long enough to notice the fabric of a black dress. She exhales slowly, whispering, "Residual image, maybe." Humidity can do strange things to senses. The recorder in her pocket clicks on by itself, a woman's voice, faint but clear. They never listened. Ava stills. "Who are you?" she asks quietly. No answer, just the slow tick of the grandfather clock in the hallway. She gathers herself and begins walking toward the library, where most of the house's records are stored. Dusty volumes line the shelves, ledgers from the 1800s filled with neat handwriting. She flips through one book until she finds two names written on the same page. Matilda Sorrel, deceased, April 1860. Molly, staff, dismissed April 1860, Ava whispers. Dismissed. Or disappeared? A loose sheet falls from the ledger, an old letter addressed to the general himself. The ink has bled, but the words are still legible enough to read. You promised she'd be free. You promised she'd have a life beyond these walls. Ava folds the paper carefully and sets it beside the camera. The storm outside breaks again, lightning flaring through the tall windows. For a moment she sees two silhouettes reflected in the glass, standing together, watching her. She speaks softly into her recorder. This isn't just a haunting story. It's evidence, a secret buried under reputation and silence. The air grows still. Then, from the upper floor, a sudden noise. Footsteps, fast and heavy. Ava grabs her flashlight and rushes toward the stairs. Her voice shakes. Who's up there? This is private property. No one answers. She climbs, heart hammering. The hallway is empty except for the portraits on the walls. All except one. Matilda Sorrell's frame hangs crooked, and the glass has splintered down the middle. Ava straightens it gently, murmuring, You both deserved better. The moment she does, a warm draft circles her, a feeling like relief rather than menace. The ticking clock below stops. Somewhere in the house, a door creaks open and then closes softly. Ava turns toward the sound, recorder still running. If you can hear me, she says, tell me what you want remembered. Only the faintest whisper answers. That we were here. The power blinks out. The camera light dies, and the screen fades to static. Morning comes quietly over Savannah. Sunlight filters through the moss-draped trees, turning the fog gold. The Sorrell weed house looks ordinary again. No thunder, no whispers, just the weight of silence. Police tape now crosses the entryway. A few reporters stand outside, speaking in hushed tones. Inside, the old caretaker walks through the rooms with slow steps. The chandelier no longer trembles. The air no longer feels cold. On the dining table lies Ava's recorder, still blinking red. Her notebook rests beside it, pages filled with neat handwriting. He presses play. Ava's voice calm and steady. People think ghosts are about fear. They're not. They're about memory. Sometimes, when the world refuses to listen, the past repeats itself until someone finally does. The caretaker exhales and glances up at the staircase. For the first time, the morning light reaches the upper landing without dimming. Weeks later, Southern Truth magazine runs her final story. The Lady in Black. What the Sorrell weed house wanted the world to remember. The article never explains how she captured the footage or where the final audio came from. It only says that she brought attention to two forgotten women, Matilda and Molly, and the injustice they endured. The mansion becomes a site for tours again, but with a different tone. Guides now speak of the lives that were lived there, not just the legends. Visitors leave flowers near the old carriage house. No one reports voices anymore, only the quiet sound of wind through the halls. One evening, the caretaker locks up and turns off the last light. As he steps outside, he pauses. Something glints in the window above the foyer. A reflection, faint but clear. A woman in black standing beside a woman in white, both looking toward the street. He nods once, not afraid. Rest easy, he whispers, closing the gate. Ava's recorder clicks off for the final time. The city moves on, unaware that in one corner of Savannah, two long silent stories finally found peace, fade to black.